everybody's backing out from Trumpism. So tell me what Trumpism is.
Trumpism is isolationism, and there's also racism too. Blame it. It's like similar to like fascism. What it is.
Okay. And people around the world is looking at this and they're saying, hey, we don't want no
We don't want no Trump style politics or anybody like that. It was the consequences of the Conservative Party in Canada, of Pierre Poilievre and Peter Dutton in Australia. Australia kicked him out of his seat.
Okay, kicked who out of their seat?
Peter Dutton out the seat in Australia. And he was the main opposition leader at the time, Anthony Albanese.
So the people across the world are looking at what's going on in America.
And they don't want that here.
Okay.
They don't want it in their country.
So, so they're distancing themselves from not America, because these are
But the Trump type figures in politics.
Yeah, because
because they're hateful.
Yeah, because he say America first, meaning what?
What really means America first means America alone. When he's talking, we're bringing manufacturing back to the UK. It takes time. It takes about maybe at least 20 years to bring manufacturing back to the United States. There is no factories that is coming back to the United States. And when the factories do come to the United States, it's automation. For example, look at UPS, for example, laying out 20,000 jobs at UPS. Okay?
So, breaking up the system and flooding the zone, as he say, and trying to keep us off track, really is kind of keeping us distracted from
from holding him accountable.
Well, what do you think he got up his sleeve? It's always something. When he started all this going in different directions, what do you think he really wants?
What he wants to do is just take away rights. Like he wants, for one example, he directed his Justice Department to stop fighting against segregation. Okay?
Stop fighting against segregation.
Yeah, school segregation.
And so what is that going to achieve?
What it's going to achieve is that they just want to keep black folks out.
So it's got to just be all lily white world, and that ain't going to work.
That's not going to work. It's less than minorities. I mean, if you really think about it, you're the minority population in the first place.
So it's just a few people that's basically holding America hostage.
Right? That is.
Just a few people. They didn't really go for Trump's immigration, the way he handled immigration, because he's down in marks on immigration. That was supposed to be one of
his strongest issue in the border on immigration. And if you really think about it, a lot of immigrants that across the border, that was their territory to begin with. It was really their home, which was stolen during the Mexican War of 1812, okay? So that was actually their home to begin with. So if you really think about it, the immigrants, that was their land to begin with, and Native American land.
But all of Donald's actions have really been a turnout for other nations, and they don't like his leadership, because they feel like the direction he's going in is just the wrong path.
It's not only the wrong, it's worse than the wrong path. It's going in the ways of Benito Mussolini. It's going in the way of Adolf Hitler and General Franco's Spain and the Portuguese dictatorship.
So he just can't get over the tariff. Just can't. No matter how many times it's explained to him,
a tariff is a national sales tax on businesses and on workers. Same thing with inflation. Inflation is a national death tax on the poor in the working class. There's no such thing now as a middle class, because a middle class is really like tearing these two apart between. So it's a working class.
So really, businesses can't move forward with the market being so
unstable
and volatile, that they're not going to go out there and invest any money.
And to please their shareholders and they're going to cut down workers. They're going to get the blame in the shaft. And it's going to cause a lot more mental health problems, which is a mental health channel as we are in the first place.
Well, they should, like the S&P 500, all the guys that was at the inauguration should step forward and just tell him that, hey, you killing the economy. He came and he had everything, you know, and he don't have people around him to help him.
He doesn't want this. He wants sycophants like the Caroline Levitts, the Stephen A. Millers, the Pam Bondis, which is the Roy Cohn of this generation. I thought that Matt Gaetz was going to be the Roy Cohn.
You know who I think that really has made it worse is the legacy media and the mainstream media. Not everybody, because, I always try to give credit where credit is due. And, those channels that have stepped up and like MSNBC on the side with Lawrence O'Donnell and Rachel
and Joy Reid before they pushed her out.
Mm-hmm. And there's another one. One retired. She had been there for years.
One for years.
Her husband was.
And Andrea Mitchell. That was the husband of Alan Greenspan.
They got Susan Rui and Ari, and they got Chris, and there's one more. She's a lady. I'm sitting up here. I can see her face, but I can't think of her name right now. I just looked at her. I just looked at it, but the bottom line, I'll come back to that, is they have been stand up and, kind of holding the fort down and reporting the news, full-fledged, But they do have a few people on there that's not doing that. And they're asking questions that's not just giving him those little baby questions to answer when we have said how many times
he doesn't care. He cannot do the job, and he doesn't care about the job. He just wants the power of the presidency, but he doesn't want the job and the mechanics of the presidency.
Well, and when you get him on television, everybody running around there so scared, he's going to tell these lies, and everybody know he's not. I start the conversation off with...
Well, you're lying. I'll start the conversation, so what you going to lie about today?
Yeah. Or, we know you're going to lie, so what's the lie going to be today?
Yeah, that's what I would say. That's what I asked the question. That's what we need to do in the mainstream media. What's the lie going to be today, Caroline Levitt? What's going to be the lie today, Mr. Fallon?
Yeah. And I can't... I can't believe that she can get out there and just go full steam ahead and
with no conscience.
Yeah, and
she's worse than Sarah B. Huckabee Sanders, and we just thought of her as the Aunt Lydia. Turns out Caroline Levitt is the new Aunt Lydia of The Handmaid's Tale.
Wow.
And we thought The Handmaid's Tale, that was a banned book a long time ago, was just a made-up story. No, it turns out to be a cookbook for authoritarians.
A cookbook for authoritarian. Okay, so how do you think that the Trump's his rhetoric and communication styles affected global diplomacy?
It's going to lead to World War III, and it's going to also lead to genocide as well. That's what it's going to lead to.
His being confrontational. Every person that he comes across is in his confrontation, and they maintain their cool. But he sees that as
he sees it as weakness. But people just, when you try to talk to him intelligently and cool, they look at you as weakness. They look at you as weakness. See, they had a lot more. See, the world leaders that are confronting Trump are more self-control. If it was me right there, it wouldn't be no self-control. If you want to do New York, we'll do New York.
But how do you think, what grade do you give for his 100-day act?
I am not even going to give...
Yeah, go ahead.
F minus.
Oh, dog, you had to say F minus. That's pretty low. That's F minus. Good God.
F minus.
So, do you think that any countries ever trust us again, or it's going to take some work?
I don't think we're going to be able... I think it's going to take a generation before we ever fix this again in our lifetime. At least in my lifetime. At least we're going to have to clean up this mess.
I mean, he had everything. A perfect economy.
And the economy may not have been perfect.
No, it wasn't perfect.
It wasn't perfect. And saying it in those terms, like the economy is perfect, that's another thing that the corporate media failed. We need to measure happiness in terms of more than just money. It needs to be in terms like the blue zones, like your health and happiness and emotional well-being.
I couldn't believe that he would. Well, he got to stop blaming Biden for everything, but he said everything that's bad is
And
Biden.
Biden and everything good is going to be me.
Wow. Even when he went to the graduation, what happened? And he was to give a speech.
He blamed everything on Biden.
Well, he made it everything about him.
He made it everything is about you. Look at me.
I got a question. Who do you think is really the president? Who do you think running the show? Because you got Bannon, you got Vogt, you got Miller, and every time something go wrong, who's the first person you see jump out there?
You got Caroline Levitt.
I don't think she run anything.
No, I don't think she's just a lying piece of lying piece of excrement.
Yeah, but I just think she just comes out there and they give her a scoop.
Yeah, they just lies right there. But who runs this country at this point? He's just like another American. He just fiddles and plays golf while this country just burns at this point.
He looks really, really kind of old, and it kind of reminds me when the people be in a nursing home and you got everybody going around directing the program, and people have their little agenda on the outside. You got the little family coming in, seeing if Granny done died yet.
That's what we're seeing right there. That's why I said 25th Amendment behavior.
25th Amendment behavior. We can't, they're asking today for people to come forward, just 4 people to just get some
There
guts.
ain't going to be no 4 people to get no guts. That ain't going to happen. The only way to deal with these people is to vote these assholes out.
So
that's the only way. Don't be, you can't fix these people or begging people. We just need 4 Republicans and we can just stop it. No, we need to vote these assholes out. And then we need to beat them to the ground like...
Not beat them to the ground, like fist beat them to the ground, but just, winning elections and
punish these people.
Well, they're trying to do a good job of punishing us. All right. So, global challenges that we had for us, climate change. How do you think that across the world they look at?
They're looking to America as the past when they're talking about we want to bring coal jobs back. The coal is not coming back. The energy of the future is wind, solar, nuclear power, and also, fusion energy.
I was talking about climate change.
That is climate change.
Yeah, that is.
That is part of the energy solutions to dealing with climate change. And denying the problem of climate change makes the planet go to... And what they're really saying is, by denying climate, they're just saying, the climate change is going to be a younger person's generational problem. By the time climate change happens, guess what? I'll be dead anyway. That's what they're thinking.
So Trump, he withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement, and I mean, everything that he had committed to at one time, he went back and withdrew from it.
Yeah, he withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement. What that really means is dirty energy. He even withdrew that lawsuit that when that oil corp company was poisoning Louisiana residents that were black. And one of the reasons for that was because they were black and DEI.
Well, when we get to DEI, bottom line is DEI is teamwork, and it's just a combination of people all over the world coming together with a common cause, or even if the cause ain't common, we just can't live in this all-white world. We just can't.
And really, what's really it's really stupid about this, about white people. They say, white people are Caucasian. Man, Caucasians started in Africa too, okay? There is no such thing as white people, okay? Caucasians started in Africa. Civilization started in Africa, okay?
So, in all of everything that Trump has done in his 100 days have brought other nations together. And
they brought 100 days, and it destroyed conservative parties like the Pierre Poilievres and the Peter Duttons gone from their seats. Because they don't want this type of behavior in their country. Because that type of behavior brings dictatorship.
Well, they showed that, hey, we're not going to go and vote these people in because we don't need nobody acting like Trump. We don't want that. And they showing America, like Paris got up that other day and they said, what? Well, welcome to...
and they're saying to the American scientists and to the transgender community, if you feel unwelcome in your country, come to France. But they're also encouraging you to fight back if you can.
So,
and especially on immigrants. And if I'm an immigrant, I'll get the hell out of the United States as possible. Like America was their dream. Well, that dream is gone.
Well, remember that TikTok that we saw the other day? And the guy got stuck. He was a bus. He was a
and yeah, he was a truck driver, and his was an American citizen. This happened in Arkansas, and this is what happened in Arkansas. This is scary. On this TikTok, he was a truck driver. Okay, here's what they did. If he didn't read or write in English correctly, he would have been fined $5,000. And if they didn't arrest him, there'd be $10,000. And if he didn't pay the $10,000 fine up front, he would have been arrested.
You see,
and this was back in Arkansas. This is Sarah, Arkansas. And who is the governor of Arkansas when this happened? Oh, yeah, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And who is Sarah B. Huckabee Sanders? The daughter of Mike Huckabee. And Mike Huckabee, the former governor of Arkansas, is now U.S. ambassador to Israel.
Man, talking about cronyism up the scale, huh?
And that was the first Aunt Lydia. Congratulations, Sarah Drew. You even worse than, that was the first Aunt Lydia.
That was the first Aunt Lydia.
I'm sorry to say, but Caroline Leavitt has surpassed Sarah Huckabee Sanders as the Aunt Lydia.
Well, now that we're out of the 100 days and hoping that everything is not Biden's fault, then what is your last words on the Trumpism, people getting away from it?
My last word on the Trumpism is that it's just not the economy. People that voted for the felon in chief, it was not about the economy. It was about keeping minorities down. And people that voted for the felon in chief does not understand the sense of history, okay? How this country was really built. When they were trying to get rid of and wipe black history, we're the ones that built this history. And like the Mexican border, like Texas, that was Mexican territory, which was stolen during the 1812s, okay? Like, for instance, like Oklahoma, that was a conservative. It was through the Trail of Tears with the felon's next favorite president, Andrew Jackson.
Okay. So, now that you said all of that and gave us a history lesson, which we really need to know, because one of the things that a lot of the voters
they don't have a sense of history or civics, a basic understanding of civics, and they do not understand about the truth at this point, except listening to Fox Noise, which is reading no news is even better than listening to Fox Noise. Oh my goodness.
Well,
we need to detox Fox Noise out of the brains. And also, you hurt yourself by voting for the felon in chief and the Republicans that don't give a damn about you. Look at small town America, because tariffs hurt farmers, and they hurt small farmers, and they hurt small towns too.
Okay. So, on that note,
we are out, and I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. So, peace and good luck.